Let's now have a look at the WTA side of things because, I mean, we've got to begin with Maria Sakkari,
Yes.
who we've really written off, but she's actually
I
potentially
was singing her praises.
doing something here.
She is.
she she's beaten Jasmine Paolini 6-2, 6-1 very comfortably to get into the fourth round. It's been a long time since she's actually beaten a top 10 player. I think going back sort of over a year ago was the last time she got a win over a top tenner.
Who's
But
laughing?
well, who's laughing now? Yeah, Chris, I think you said she was
Yes.
clutching at straws,
I did. I
rehiring her
used
old
the D word.
coach.
I did say desperate. So I'm looking straight
Yeah.
to camera. I'd like to issue a formal apology to Maria Sakkari. I do believe this partnership is a good thing. And I think the success is going to continue. What is
Yeah.
Peyton Stern's loss is Maria Sakkari's gain at the moment. Is
Yeah.
that
I
where
mean,
Tom was before?
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, so
It
he,
does
he
seem he's
mm.
given her a bit of a rejuvenation, perhaps.
The feeling of the familiar coming back. I mean, it's always sad when you see a champion who is so good and has been so good and probably had quite a lot of chances that she could have taken previously and then isn't necessarily enjoying herself on the court. So it's great to see that. I think it's always great to see someone who's also very good on clay because I think we've seen a few results
Mm.
from some players who maybe aren't the most comfortable. And it does just mean some of these draws can get a bit iffy if you don't have that sort of clay pedigree like Sakkari has had previously. And I
Yeah.
completely forgot the last player to defeat Iga Swiatek on clay at the French Open, Maria Sakkari. Straight sets, 4-4, I
Is it
think. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I completely
Quarterfinal,
forgot that ever happened. Is that the year that Sakkari then went to the semis
semis,
and should have
2021,
should
and
have
then
won? Yeah,
Krejcikova won it. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that year.
Paolini
Oh,
did not have a great day. It has to be said. So I think Sakkari has. Is it Svitolina next? Don't take anything away from her. We
I'm not. I need to,
already said the negative thing last
honestly.
week. We're
The
positive this week.
sorry. Okay.
But Svitolina's playing well, very
Yeah,
well.
I think this will be a real test of where the Sakkari Hill partnership is at the moment.
yes, and well, one player who might need a bit of a spring in her step is Jessica Pegula. She had a bit of a shock loss to Uchiyama of Japan, 6-3, 6-2, which, was surprising given that Pegula's been coming in on a great run of form, picks up the title in Charleston, got the, career WTA Tour, winning player at the moment, but for the year. But yeah, Uchiyama getting the win, and in doing so, getting her first ever, not just top 10 win, but top 25 win.
Wow.
So fantastic stuff for her because not a player that many of us would necessarily, be following or knowing too much about. But she was, yeah, by far the outstanding player, and she's. I think also this season she beat Emma Raducanu earlier. She has beaten Ostapenko, so yeah, getting a couple of good wins this year. Chris, I'm going to come to you as I always do
Mm.
with players that maybe our listeners aren't too familiar with. What do you make of Uchiyama? Where do you think she's at? What can we expect from her going forwards?
I think it's really nice to have her coming up and playing so well. I think she's someone who doesn't get at all kind of deterred by the moment. I think she does enjoy playing some of those big players. And I mean, she's very solid. I think you could say for her performance, it wasn't the best tennis she's ever played against Pegula, but it definitely wasn't Pegula's best level. And you can only beat the player in front of you. And Pegula hit 46 unforced errors. She hit 33 unforced errors. But it is a case of play better than your opponent and you're probably going to get the win. So I think for her, it'll be big. I think Madrid can lead to a few slightly surprising results. And it does obviously play very differently from the clay of Charleston, where Pegula obviously did get the win. But in terms of her form, I mean, she's definitely a player to take note of because she is moving up the rankings. She's becoming a bit of a regular fixture at some of these bigger tournaments. And hopefully she will continue to do well. But she's got Alexandra next, who seems to be the form clay player, which I never thought I'd be
Mm.
saying. But she's really had a good start to the clay season. So we'll see how long the run goes on for. But I'm feeling a bit better about that Emma Raducanu loss now.
Yeah.
Do you think that Charleston result is a bit of a misnomer in terms of translation from like American green clay to kind of European red clay? Because I've been reading some interesting things around like Charleston almost actually playing like a hard court, and that's why Jessica Pegula plays so well there because arguably hard is her best
Mm.
surface. Whereas clay, maybe there's a little bit more inconsistency because she lost early also, last week in Stuttgart,
Mm.
this week as well. Do you think there's a little bit of a like false deception with that Charleston kind of championship and actually Jessica Pegula as a beacon of consistency as she is, and to be fair, I think I was reading she's played 10 events this season, so she's played a lot of tennis. Is there still work to be done there?
I mean, the way that it plays, I think it was Anisimova also made the comment, it's in between a hard and a clay court. So apparently it's very good for transitioning. But at the same time, pretty much everyone who's played in Charleston hasn't necessarily done that well, except for Alexandra at this event. I think probably it's better to get onto the European clay. Ben Shelton went straight to the European clay this year. I think previously had played Houston. I think probably it's not the best warm up, but if you don't really want to be on the clay, it might be a good one to get some ranking points out.
Well, one player who has, had a great week recently, Elena Ostapenko winning Stuttgart. She is out. She will not be playing Iga Swiatek. I'm sure Iga Swiatek's delighted. She lost to Sevastova, who then in turn, who's back, but she then in turn got double bageled by Diana Schneider. So, quite up and down for Sevastova, but Schneider now through the one to play Swiatek. So I'm sure Swiatek seeing a double bagel will, be wanting to maybe, open her own bakery up again. But we'll have to see how that one goes. But yeah, Schneider, I mean, definitely at the races in that match. Only the fourth player as well to win a women's singles match at the Madrid Open with a double bagel. So my question to you is, which other players have done that? Can you remember?
That's a tough
It's since
question.
2009.
I'm going to go Dinara Safina. She loved a double bagel.
Well, and because she's working with Schneider now. She didn't. She didn't do one. Actually, it wasn't her.
Joel,
any ideas?
No.
This isn't the quiz section, Kim.
It's not the quiz section. So
Kim's game is not a fun one right now.
It was Azarenka, Simona Halep, and Coco Gauff have delivered bagels, double bagels, I should say, in Madrid. So there we have it.
I feel like we're glossing over. We're glossing over the fact that Elena Ostapenko. I drank the Kool-Aid on Elena Ostapenko last week on Stuttgart, and
it was never going to happen.
It was never going to happen. This is just so frustrating about the Ostapenko. The game plan is that it can be so good one week and then so bad the next week.
I know it's so inconsistent, and I mean, Swiatek will be delighted. However, she didn't have all things her own way, did she? Because she played Alexandra Eala, who did so well, I think, in Miami earlier in the year and really emerged onto the tour. That went 3 sets. It wasn't easy for Swiatek. So, and they obviously Eala had beaten her, hadn't she, in Miami? So, a bit of a rematch. She got her revenge, but bit of a chance for Schneider. Are you sensing when she plays Swiatek coming up?
She won't be intimidated by the prospect, that's for sure. She really does kind of put her tennis onto you. She likes to take the ball early. It'll be interesting to see that matchup. I think it will be quite competitive. I was very impressed, though, that Swiatek did turn that one around against Eala after she'd been in a similar situation previously where she did get up a break. She got pegged back, and Eala did end up taking her out in straight sets. So I think for this, it's very impressive she did do that, because Swiatek needs wins. She's a defending champion. There's a big ranking deficit now between Sabalenka and her. Yeah. And I think that's probably a case that losing this match would really make her think, you know what, I'm maybe not the favourite for the French at this rate. So there still is a lot of good tennis being played. And I think if she can get through this tournament with the title, I think probably order will be restored on clay.
Yeah, it might just be what she needs just before the French at the right time. Positive news again, though, British female players. We've had some great news from the British men's side of things, but we had 3 British women through to the second round. Katie Boulter won her first ever match on clay on the WTA
How has it
tour.
Taken this long? I know that's a great achievement. I was like,
she does dodge the clay season, I think, where she can. She's not playing the 125, is she, or the 250 in Rouen?
She came through against Siniakova in 3 sets and then subsequently fell to Paolini in straights, which is, no shame in that. We also had Sonny Kartal beating Christian in straights and then losing to Svitolina in straight sets. Again, high caliber opponent, no shame in that. And then Emma Raducanu as well got the win over Susan Lamens and then fell to Marta Kostyuk in 3 sets. So, decent from the British girls. And just on Emma Raducanu, she has got Mark Petchey as sort of part of her team in Madrid. He's sort of there, but it's still informal, they're kind of saying. But going well early stages, are we sensing?
I hope he's being paid in full. Well, surely he is, but maybe the contract is on a
Cash
day
in
by day.
hand.
Yeah, cash in hand, money under the table. I think it is going well. I mean, it's a good result. There's no shame in losing to Marta Kostyuk on clay. She's a
No.
very handy competitor. She's ranked far above her at the moment. And so I think probably it's a positive stepping stone. I would just love her to play a 250 or just step down a level.
Yeah.
You know, Osaka's playing in St. Malo. I think she's playing the 125. Get some clay matches under your belt. I think it would really help rather than just kind of the odd match and seeing if you're going to have another stellar run like the US Open. So hopefully maybe there'll be a bit of an influence there where she's able to actually play a bit more tennis. But it seems like she's managing her schedule to play less tennis to get better results. So we'll have to see
It's
what
a
will
high
happen.
risk, high reward
Yeah, it
strategy
is.
at the moment, isn't it?
It's a bit like maybe Carlos Alcaraz going partying and then winning the French, but without winning the French, I think is kind of what's happening on the Raducanu side of things at the moment.
Oh, clip that in case she does win the French.
I shouldn't say anything, should I?
Famous last words.
Yeah, Sakkari came backery to bite me in the arse for that one, didn't it?
I mean, just before we go to a break, a really fun stat as well that's just come out that we've seen. Players born in the 1980s. So next week's ranking, so once Madrid's ended, in the WTA top 50, there will be no players who were born in the 1980s because Victoria Azarenka is going out of the top 50, sadly. And she is the last remaining player to be born in the 80s, which is it's quite sad, isn't it? But understandable at the same time.
30, 35 and over, would it be? Or 36 and over, essentially, right? So, I mean, there's not that many. I was thinking maybe there would be like a Tatiana Maria or someone like that, a wily competitor, but
there's still quite a few in 50 to 50 plus.
Yes. Okay,
I
good.
suppose. But at the
end
very
of an era
top,
at the top.
Yeah, I mean, Martina Hingis was, I think, the first player born in the 80s to enter the top 50 in the rankings. And that was in 1995. So she would have been,
wow,
15, I guess. Also, then
time catches up with everyone. So
I know.
a good run, you know, 30 years.
Yeah. Well, generation
he's still in the 80s,
maybe,
isn't he?
Maybe over. Yeah. So yeah, he'll be 38 very soon. His birthday's in May. So yes, let's see.